course. Okay, so in the business with my lovely wife, Angela, I've been in the industry going on 9.5, 10 years. I started in health insurance. So understanding how these two go hand in hand and how you can make a lot of money helping people and doing the right thing, I think I finally found that niche. If anybody has any questions, please write them down, hold them to the end, and I'm just going to try to go through this as smoothly as possible. So let me see. Here, let me share screen. Yes. Okay. Now everybody should be able to see my screen. I wanted to go ahead and how do we get that that blank screen? Tony, do you remember how to get that? Where I could
Yeah,
just
you're talking
draw?
about like the whiteboard?
Yeah.
So hit share, and there should be a thing there that says whiteboard.
That's what I thought. Okay, let me try. Share content. There we go. Awesome.
There you go.
All right, perfect. So real quick, we obviously have health insurance, right? We all know that there is many different types of or ways to be able to get it. The first way, if you can't get it through, let's say, group insurance, okay? Excuse my handwriting because I don't have one of those cool pens yet. So you have group insurance that is number one. If somebody has group insurance, chances are it's through work or it's through government. Government's most likely, obviously military or anybody that works for the government, right? So usually we want to leave those people alone because they're already very well versed. Sometimes people will want extra coverage where you will be able to give them additional benefits like those critical illnesses, like those other riders that we usually use on life insurance policies. Now, through work, most of those people, they're able to get insurance through coverage through an employer. A lot of times, if you add someone to the family, it's going to be pretty expensive. If you add anybody from your family onto your coverage through your employer, usually gets very expensive. So that you want to be able to find who it is that is included onto their health insurance plan through work. A lot of times it should just be them, and then the rest of the family should be on another plan, depending on the situation, of course. And then the other two is going to be ACA, which is the Affordable Care Act, and then non-ACA. All right. ACA stands for Affordable Care Act, which is Obamacare, Trump Care, Biden Care. All those are just names. The official name is the ACA, Affordable Care Act. Now, this is going to be this is major medical coverage, of course, all right, because there's a few different types of health insurance. So you have this is major med, and then this does not matter on pre-existing health conditions, covers for pregnancies, anything and everything you can really imagine that most health insurance plans would cover. Now, this is based on income. And household. So this also is very dependent on your taxes. So we want to know how many, and I'm going to do all this for you guys, of course, but for those that want to know a little bit more about the health insurance background and how to find out our potential clients, this is generally what this is for. Mostly people with group insurance, we want to leave them alone unless they have a family and it costs them a lot of money. Most people are looking to change because they're just spending too much. So that's part of the group. Now, as far as the ACA, some people already have Obamacare, but some of them aren't aware of some of the changes that the Biden administration has made as of April 1st this year. If you know, then this is the biggest, if you guys take away anything from this, please, if you know anybody, which is most likely a lot of people out there, that has had any, have been approved for any unemployment whatsoever, guess what? That is our target niche market. We can get them practically free doctor visits, free medications. Their specialists are like $5 to $10. It's like the best insurance in the world for people that have gotten approved for unemployment. So if you know any unemployment, or maybe you yourself have had it yourself, gotten approved for 2021 this year, man, you have the ability to get some really, really good insurance. Now, the way that the ACA works for the household the income in the household, whether they got employment or not, you could still get them the ACA. Now, if they're making too much money, that's where we go to non-ACA. So if, let's say, an individual person is making more than $60,000 a year, usually, and they're healthy, usually we go to non-ACA because it's underwritten. Okay, which means you have to answer no to a series of medical questions that will get you approved for their plans. Real quick: cancer, tumor, stroke, heart attacks, chest pain, heart surgery, COPD, emphysema, Crohn's disease, liver disorder, diabetes, just to name a few. So you do have to be quite healthy to get those plans. And they do not cover pregnancy. Okay, now this is going to be through private, right? And I'm sorry. So what we want to do is actually make this, the only two plans that you can get on this is short-term medical, which we offer, by the way, short-term medical, and then indemnity plans, which we really want to stay away from unless you're getting them a really good policy. But they're rare. Usually you want to just do some type of short-term medical. ACA is your major medical, which is really where you want to live and where you can offer the best services. Because there are plenty of people out there that already have pre-existing health conditions that want to make sure that they can get that surgery or get that colonoscopy or whatever the case may be. Now, the reason why we're going to live right here is mainly because of that unemployment. Really and truly, if you know anybody that has had unemployment this year, please reach out to me or Tony afterwards so we can set an appointment with that individual and see what we can do for them. And then from there, these ACA plans that are major medical are pretty cost effective. And they are zero deductibles. If it's $1,000 deductible, that's very rare, but it's usually less than that. I'm a very T person, so that's why I go over some type of specifics like that. I am quite technical, like Tony was mentioning about CPAs. So I kind of get along with them a little bit, but our conversations are a lot longer, let me tell you that. And I do like to talk to A personalities because it's just more fluid. You know, you don't have to explain as much. But other than that, does anybody have any questions on how to be able to find who it is that we're looking for?
Here's the opportunity for you guys, okay? And here's where I find the advantage, okay? A guy like Rob knows the ins and outs, right? I think he's already kind of validated. He knows the ins and outs of different insurances. You need to focus on finding people that need health insurance. And then what I would do is I would match up a meeting with Rob, do a joint work case, and learn on the field, right? Here's what, if I'm a brand new agent, here's what I just learned. There's insurance for everybody, right? There's free insurance. The Affordable Care Act program is basically a government subsidy where the government says, hey, if you're not making enough money and your employer, if you're not making enough money and your employer is not offering you health insurance, we have a way of giving you money that you can then apply to any insurance company you want. We're talking like the Cignas, you know, we're talking about Aetna, we're talking about Blue Cross Blue Shield, whatever major medical insurance plan is approved in the state that you live in, the government is willing to give you money every single month so that you can have that insurance. And a lot of times it's free. Literally the amount of money that they're giving them is more money or the exact same amount of money as the cost of the insurance itself. And then therefore it's completely, utterly free to have a major medical plan. So if I'm thinking like a marketer, I'm going on social media, I'm saying, hey, is anybody right now, do you know anyone right now that is in need for health insurance at zero cost? What's the clutch? What's the hook? Free. Zero cost health insurance. Who would say no to zero cost health insurance? Who would say no?
So,
Nobody would. Go ahead, Rob.
so normally what I would do is I would just get a budget. I don't even go that far into it. I mean, the place that I like to stay is around $150 a month. If you can afford $150 a month for your health insurance, then great, I can help you out. And then once you go through it, you explain the living benefits of these policies, and it's a no-brainer for these people, even if they do have insurance. And with all the products and services that we're able to offer, there's families that need health insurance. So guess what? Each one of those kids get a little IUL or whatever they prefer. So I don't talk too much about the zero premium on the health insurance because they're expecting zero, cost. So we definitely want them to understand a little bit more that, yeah, like 150 for an individual, correct. I did want to also answer some questions. I did see, oh no, let's see, decline that. Okay. I did see a question on there real quick about the FFM. That's a really good question. So the FFM is the Federal Facilitated Marketplace. In order to get appointed, yes, you do need to do that. Pretty simple. You go to cms.portal.gov or /portal. If you just Google it, it'll pull up, and you can get that done. I'm pretty sure it's free. What if they're no longer getting unemployment benefits? That's okay, as long as they got it at some point in 2021 this year. For a family, 150 or individual, right? So 150 per individual is a really good spot to start, and then just kind of move on from there. Because a lot of the people that we're talking to that do have ACAs have pre-existing health conditions, and we need to make sure that we get some good guaranteed issued products to them. But sorry, Tony, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
no, you're good, bro.
Yeah, I would just focus more on a budget. Like, we're very budget friendly.
So I'll tell you a couple ways that I leverage it. Most health insurances have a deductible. They have that $5,000, $6,000 deductible. And this is where Rob really kind of comes in and cross-sells. Cross-selling is where the money is at. Because if there's a deductible, do we have a plan that can help cover that deductible? We do. We have several different plans to cover. We have plans that have living benefits, right? So think about life insurance with living benefits that gives you lump sum money if you develop a chronic or critical illness. So if the person has that, they need the health insurance to cover the medical costs, but they need to pay the deductible first. Well, the living benefits can cover the deductible. Now you made a sale, right? If you get a chance to sit with that person, you now can do a full budget on them, and you can talk about the benefits of IULs for the children, right? My last health insurance case, it was an individual who was looking for health insurance. I did a budget, found out he had an extra $800 a month. I asked him if it was important for him to also save money. Apart from having health coverages, was it important for him to also save money? He said yes. I did an IUL presentation on him. He purchased an NLG policy at $200 a month because the policy to him covers the living benefits, which is the deductible of his health insurance, but it also starts putting money away in savings. Now you're talking about $2,400 of annual premium right there. Now he was making the kind of income that qualified him for a $400 a month subsidy from the government. So he ended up getting health insurance for like nothing. But because I had a budget conversation with him in the beginning, and because he understood the importance of other services like savings, we were able to sell him other products. If that makes any sense. Rob, do you sell? I haven't seen it yet, but I hear NatGen has a product that is designed to cover the deductible as well for major medical health.
Yeah, there's a Triomed that they have. It's hospital, accident, and critical illness. It's a rider that covers, I think they start at 2,500.
You know what it's called? What that product is called?
Triomed?
No, that's not the name that the guy gave me. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I'll find out. But there's so many solutions, guys. There genuinely is. Is there any other questions? Because what I want to ask next is to see who actually wants to start getting themselves into the health market, because we're about to start that process as well. Yes.
You need a 215. You can't have a 214.
That's correct. So you need a life and health license, is what he's saying. Okay. So we have a question here from Eve. Why are hospital indemnities no good with ACA?
No, they are good.
Eve, do you wanna kind of open up on that one a little bit? What is it that you know, so that maybe we can either learn
No,
or
I just heard him say, short-term medical, not a hospital indemnity. So I was wondering why, because I do hospital indemnity. I'm like, why not?
yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Unless I did add on to that, unless it's a good one, because there are some really bad ones out there that pay higher commissions. So there's so many like health insurance rooms that are only offering those products to where they're only going to give you $50 for 2 doctor visits a year. I'm sure that your product does way more than that, and it'll give them $250 for 30 days in hospital confinement per day. So I'm sure your product offers way more than that. So I'm just comparing that to like the cockroaches of indemnity, if that makes any sense.
There we go.
Hospital and cancer plans, yes. Yeah, no, those are all good policies. I didn't mean to talk bad about indemnity. I just meant that there are a lot of bad indemnity plans that are out there that are being sold strictly for commissions. They're not being sold for as quality products. That's all.
Yeah, guys, that's
that
one
answer your
thing for
question?
sure. That's one thing for sure that I know about the health world that I've learned. You want to work with somebody that genuinely wants to provide the best product for the client and not just for the commission, because here's something that I'm ashamed to say it, but unfortunately it's a truth. There's a lot of crappy health products out there that people like to push as though they're high quality major medical plans, simply because it's a quick turnaround commission. I mean, there's actually products out there that, in my opinion, should be removed and illegal. I mean, literally, that is such a health insurance is such a slippery slope. So for sure, if you don't have that expertise, work with someone like Rob on those cases and learn from him. I mean, genuinely learn from him. That's how I've learned this industry, is working with experts that were doing it longer than I was, that were doing it better than I was. I wanted to learn from them because intellectual property can never be taken back. It can never be taken back. I mean, you could spend a year with me learning how I sell insurance, and on 1 year and a day, I disrespect you. You decide that you hate me, don't want to deal anything with me, and completely leave. But you take with you the intellectual property that you learned along the way. You can never get that. You can never take that back. And that stuff is valuable, very, very valuable. Okay. Let me close off with this. Does anybody have any more questions with Rob? Because I want to talk a little bit about how Rob is going to be involved with us. And I want to talk about a couple of other ancillaries you guys can talk about in order to cross-sell other products.
So George is asking, does anyone know about private health insurance? Yeah, private health insurance is non-ACA. That's another word for that. That's US Health Advisors, that's United Healthcare, that's the short term, that's the indemnity, that's all private market insurance. Anything that you can't get through the group, government, or through ACA, that's pretty much just private.
You can do 3, 6, 9, or 9-month policies.
For the short-term medical, yes, yes. A lot of those are pretty catastrophic almost. Most of them don't have preventative care. Some of them do. And then a lot of the short-term medicals, I personally wouldn't suggest if they can get an ACA. If they can get an ACA, that's true major medical. They'll never have an issue with that, other than finding doctors that's accepting of the policy. And they make too much money.
Let me see here what we got here. How do I upgrade, get my policies? So, okay. So if you log into TKO's website, there's a button there called pre-licensing. What you can do is you can register through, if you're not in the state of Illinois, you can register through Excel testing. There's a discount code there, so you'll actually get it for free. And if you have the life only license, what you got to do is you got to do the health only. That's what you have to do, right? If you're not licensed, I recommend you study for the life and health combined. In Florida, it's called the 215, which is life and health, 214 if you just do life only, and 240 if you're just doing health only. So here's what we're creating within TKO, just so you understand, because I don't want people without a health license to feel they can't advertise health insurance. You can't talk specifically about the products and the companies, and you can't run quotes. You can't do any of that stuff. That's what Rob's going to be there for, to help you, right? But you can talk about the fact that the firm you represent does help people with health insurance. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, when I think of the topics that people want to know about more than anything, health insurance is on the top of the list. Credit repair is on the top of the list. And replacement of income if they develop COVID is on the top of the list, AKA short-term disability, right? And again, short-term disability, you need the health license to sell that as well. So here's what we're creating. If you have the health license and you want to get contracted as an agent doing health insurance, great. What I need you to do, and I'm going to give you my phone number right now because I need to start tallying up a list of you. I need you to send me a text message and let me know, hey, I want to get into health insurance. I have my life and health. My number is 239-784-1118. If you don't already have it, I'm pretty sure everybody does though, but I'll post it here as well too in the chat. Text me, Tony, here's what I need to know. I have my health insurance license. I want to get contracted. And then obviously your name, if I don't have you saved on my phone, that would be beneficial, right? If you don't have a health license, here's what we're going to offer. We're going to offer you an opportunity to gain some free leads for the health referrals. So I want you to still advertise it, okay? Because what's going to happen is if the person takes action on the health side, we're going to give you some free leads as a way to give you some type of compensation. Now, please understand this. Our objective, Rob's full objective, is to get into a health meeting, sell them a quality health product, but we also want to sell them a life insurance policy. We also want to try to sell them a living benefit policy. We want to try to get some kid IULs. We want to try to create, cross-selling opportunities. That's huge for you guys. I'm going to tell you guys right now, you want to create what's called a sticky situation with all your clients. This is an old school sales term. Sticky situation means that they've bought so many different things from you that it's hard for them to leave you. The reason bankers, if you ever walk into a bank, it's hard to, nowadays people don't walk into banks that often, but you ever walk into a bank and they're trying to cross-sell you the second checking account, the extra debit card, the credit card, the savings account, the safety deposit box. The reason they're trying to do all of that is they're trying to make you a sticky client. So if anything ever happens and you want to leave the bank, there's so much stuff you have to untether, and there's so much work that they choose not to want to go. Here's another reason why you want to cross-sell, okay? If you just sell them life insurance, there's going to be another agent that's going to sell them health insurance. And you know what that other health insurance agent is going to try to sell them? They're going to try to sell life insurance. And you risk losing the business that you already wrote because there's somebody else that's offering a similar, offering that service as well too, okay? You don't want that. You definitely don't want that. When I come across a client and I sell them life, if I find out that they have even $4,000 sitting in an IRA, I'm going to move that money into an annuity. Now, why am I using that as an example? For those of you that write annuities, it's a lot of paperwork and there's very little compensation for $4,000. I mean, $4,000 is like pennies that you're going to make for a lot of work. But if I sold that client life insurance, I don't want that $4,000 IRA to get in the hands of another agent that's going to try to replace my life insurance. I want all the business over here because I want their conversations to be with me, not with me and somebody else. Because that other person, I promise, is trying to replace the business that you put in. So that's where health insurance also falls in. That's where it falls in. I know an individual right now, this year, and this is why I say the $0 health insurance. This year, he acquired 1,000 health insurance clients this year. You know what he did? Everything that he was advertising was showing people how to qualify for free health insurance. Showing people how to qualify for free health insurance. So so that was the pitch, right? And everybody uses a different pitch, right? I think Rob uses a different pitch. He goes in a different angle, and that's okay. He goes in that way. What do people typically do? Wait, there's free health insurance. I want to try to get that. Why is that important? Because most people are working for employers that don't offer it. And 63 million people were laid off in this last 18-month period because of COVID-19. And unemployed people qualify for that type of health insurance. And then the third thing is the fear factor. People are afraid of COVID-19 and the medical costs that come with it. They're afraid of it. So people, when you hear that free insurance, the first thing that he does when he gets into that conversation with them is, hey, listen, I'm going to try to qualify you. But if I can't qualify you, what's your budget? What is your absolute budget? What can you afford if I can get you a good quality health insurance policy? There are free ones out there, but there's certain qualifications. And he'll get a budget, right? Rob, I got you.
We can also create, because it's not open enrollment yet. Open enrollment starts November, right?
Correct.
There are ways that we can create open enrollments or special enrollment periods for people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's the other piece.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
other piece too, is I want you guys to understand there are periods of time where people are supposed to apply, but there's special qualifications outside of that period. And let me tell you something. We're very good about finding ways to get people to fit in those periods of time. Look at that. You see that laugh that Rob got? We're very good about finding those special enrollments. There's so many different qualifications, but I promise you, there's a lot of people will fall into one of those qualifications that allow them to apply outside of an open enrollment period. So don't think, oh my God, it's not open enrollment yet, I can't do it. That's not true. That is not true. I got like 7 cases right now pending where I can tell you confidently, at least 6 of them, I've already found a special provision that lets them apply right now. Okay. Shelly asks, you just have to know the rules. You do, correct. Now here's the great thing. I would advise you, take Rob with you for every single health insurance case you have. Guys, the key to financial success is distribution. I'm gonna tell you right now, the key to financial success is distribution. We partnered up with Ace Financial because they're experts in e-commerce. I feel confident in not having to be the specialist and partnering with him, right? Because that means agents make money, clients gets helped, his firm makes money, everybody's winning. Same thing with health insurance. I'm pretty lethal with health insurance, but I'm nowhere near as good as Rob is in health insurance. I'm not. So the reason I created this partnership is because I want everybody here to know you don't have to be an expert at it, but you can bring an expert with you and you can learn along the way. And what he's going to do is he's going to do a really good job of making sure that he opens up life sales. He opens up disability sales. He opens up chronic and critical policies. He opens up, what a med sub plan. He opens up hospital indemnity options and all of those other policies, just so you know, they pay very well. I mean, you sell a simplified living benefit term policy. Some of your contracts at an associate level, so you guys know, are at 95, 100% contracts. I mean, you sell that and it's $100 a month for a family plan type scenario. You're talking about, $1,200 worth of commissions. Now, again, to be fully transparent, the understanding when you're taking a guy like Rob or a guy like me or anybody, really, anybody at a certified trainer type position is whatever gets sold is getting split 50-50. But this is a great way to learn. This field training to me is the absolute, utterly the best lesson that I ever had in learning this business was taking a specialist with me, respecting the person's time. I split the business with him, but I'm learning along the way. So what do you guys both get together? You get to split commissions, but what do you gain? You gain intellectual property that you never have to give back. And I promise you 7 to 10 meetings after doing that, you're going to notice that you don't need a specialist to go with you because you became the specialist yourself. 50%, look what happened in Nefertari. 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. If she would have gone by herself, she probably would have sold a 20-year term policy because that's what she came in to replace. But if it wasn't for the fact that I came in and I fact found and I found other opportunities, we wouldn't have found an IUL opportunity. We wouldn't have found a $100,000 rollover opportunity. And because of that, she makes $5,000 at a 50% contract versus 600 at a 100% contract. That's the benefit in bringing an expert with you. And Rob is really good about finding other ancillary sales in having a health conversation with the client. So I want everybody focused on talking to people about health insurance, whether you have the license or you don't. If you don't have the license, okay, if you do not have the license, oh, that's good, Shelly. And Shelly, like you said, if you're versed in it and you want to bring your health practice over here, let's talk. We'll talk about the comps because I want to make sure you're making a vertical move at the end of the day. If it's beneficial for you to bring your health practice over here, let's have a conversation and you run your own independent agency and create the same structure that Rob has created for me within TKO, within your agents. So tell your agents the same thing, train them and have them take you to the meetings so that you can cross-sell opportunity as well too, right? That's why I say there's going to be a group of you that know how to sell health. Let's get contracted and get you going. There's going to be a group of you that want to learn how to sell health. Let's get you contracted and get you going. There's going to be a group of people that don't want to sell health because you really just don't want to be that. Health insurance pays $15 a month type scenario. It's not a lot. That's why the ancillaries are so big. If all you're doing is going in for health insurance and you spend an hour and a half with these people, and now you got to be the person that answers their phone calls every month when they have a question about their deductible and copay and stuff like that for 15 bucks a month, you're like, hell no. But if you learn how to sell the ancillary products that pay you 600, 800, 1,000, 1,500 bucks up front, it becomes worth it. It becomes worth it. That's why I say some of you are going to say, I don't want to sell it. Cool, no problem. Don't sell it, but find it. Bring Rob to the meeting. We'll take care of that transaction. We'll give you some free leads in exchange for providing us the health insurance deal. But you get to also sell what? The life, the supplement, and all that other stuff that pays freaking phenomenal. So that's why I give you my number. If you want to get into the health market, I need to know. Shoot me a text message. If you're licensed, send me, hey, I'm already licensed. I want to get into it. Hey, I'm not licensed, but I want to get into it. Whoever that is, I need to know, because we have a separate group chat right now that we're forming solely for health insurance. And I got to get you through contracting. I got to get you through the process of contracting, which you're going to love our process because it's so A, B, C, D, so easy to do. We're selling every company on the ACA market and on non-ACA. We're also selling the short-term medicals, we have all of that stuff already in play. But this is a great, guys. This year alone, I've probably sold 20 clients health. And out of the 20 right now, I'm batting 100 for 100. I've also sold them life insurance. Some of them, it's a simple $30 a month term, but it's gone as high as a $200 a month IUL. I mean, simple as that. Carlise, you raised your hand. What you got?
Oh, sorry, I'm talking and I'm on mute. I'm already health licensed, so I'll get in the contracting group.
Awesome. Do me a favor, but how I'm collecting the checklist is just shoot me a text and let me know, because that way I can have it on my phone and I can add you into that health side of it. No problem.
Okay, cool.
And then Tanisha asked a question about what about for entrepreneurs? Are there special requirements to qualify? So entrepreneurs is actually who we're looking for. It's people that aren't offered insurance through their employer or through the government. So we got to figure out how much their income is. And if they are entrepreneurs, hopefully they have the LLC and they're paying themselves through that LLC so that we could prove that income as personal income rather than business. And those are pretty much the requirements, income.
Yeah.
And what happens if they are just starting? So maybe they haven't formed the LLC or they're not quite, they don't have that income to report yet because they're starting out.
Let's meet.
Awesome. Will do. Thank you.
100%. Yeah. That for business owners, just so you guys know, it's not about the gross income. It's about what you report after expenses. There were several years, my first couple of years, I've been now 17 years in this industry. My first 2 years, my first 4 years, I wasn't making six figures. But after my fourth year, I was making 75 to 82 to 85,000 my first 4 years. But once I crossed that threshold of six figures, I never turned back. But here's why I say this. From year number 6 to year number 10, I was grossing $150,000 a year. But after I wrote off all my business expenses, my adjusted gross income, meaning my take home, what I had to pay taxes on, guys, was less than $40,000. Less than $40,000. Being a business owner is the best tax benefit on the planet. I promise you it is. Because you can write off so much stuff. For those of you that are working at home, you could write off a part of your mortgage or a part of your rent payment. You could write off your electric bill. You could write off your cell phone bill. You could write off so much stuff that you get so many tax credits. So here's why I say this, Tanisha. In my particular situation now, I'm fortunate, I'm blessed, so I'm not complaining about it. I make too much money to qualify for ACA. And so because I make too much money, but I'm super healthy, I personally have a short-term medical plan. That's what I have, and that works for me. It renews once a year. It has a deductible. It has a copay. It operates just like a regular plan. It doesn't cover specialists. It doesn't cover pregnancies. It doesn't cover pre-existing conditions, but I don't have any need for any of that. So it works for me. My kids get reported on my ex-wife's taxes, and my kids were able to get the Affordable Care Act program. So my kids have an ACA plan that is like $8 a month that I pay. Because why? Because her income puts her in that position where that's what they qualify for. And so my kids get $8 a month. They have Cigna insurance, a PPO plan. It's a phenomenal plan, but I have a short-term medical plan. So there are solutions like that for every single person. And that's where Rob really comes in, and he can look at the scenario and go, okay, this is best going short-term med. This is best going Affordable Care Act plan. This might even be better as a group plan if you deal with a small business owner. We have all of that. Carlise, you raise your hand.
I think it's just been up this whole time.
Okay.
But and remember, we're just scratching the surface. This is under 65 only. This is not over 65. Over 65 is Medicare A, B, C, D, no more F, but G, N, right? Shelly, no more F, right? No more F. They still have Plan F?
They still have Plan F as long as you were born, as long as you qualified before January of 2020. You can get an F and you can stay in F.
As long as you
Just
qualified.
depends
So
on your date of birth.
okay. Oh,
So-
okay.
So that actually moves me into the next conversation, which is Medicare, right? And I'm just only going to spend about 2 minutes in there. We have a Medicare platform as well. Howard Rabinowitz, which you guys know fairly well, is running the Medicare side of that platform. So he's the one that you're going to be talking to in reference to contracting. But what we're creating in that world is the exact same thing. If you're a Medicare agent and you want to move your book of business over and run your book of business, perfect. Let us know. We'll begin that contracting process. I know Rob does, Shelly does. There's a couple of you guys that do. If you are a life agent working in the final expense market and you're not talking about Medicare, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're shooting yourself 100% in the foot because number one, Medicare is government funded. Number one, government funded, and it's a guaranteed approval product. Okay. Number two, it's for 65 plus. So when you're working final expense and you're getting these final expense leads, it's 90% of them are going to be people that are 65 and older. So you sell them final expense. If you're not talking about their Medicare plan, if you're not trying to get a copy of that prescription card and that health insurance card and seeing if you can find them something better, you're shooting yourself in the foot because those are some commissions that you could make as well. Those are some commissions. Now, if you're not health licensed, I would still encourage you to find it. Because what we're going to do within TKO is for every single Medicare client that you bring over, if you're not health licensed, we're still going to provide you with some free leads as a benefit to you. And those leads are going to be more focused on more final expense sales. So everybody here, whether licensed or non-licensed, should be talking about it. You 100% should be talking about it. Okay. Same concept, same exact concept. Take a specialist with you. We find cross-selling opportunities. It's there for you. It's 100% there for you. Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? Sandra said to me, tell them how much I'm paying. So let me tell you Sandra's story. Remember, Sandra up until last year was a 9-to-5. Was a 9-to-5 working for an employer. This is her first year as a business owner, right? And we're actually right now having conversations about her setting up her corporation because I'm treating Sandra within TKO. I'm treating her as a subcontractor. Right? And the main reason why is because I have an idea for something that we're going to unfold with her and a company that she's going to run that I believe could be very beneficial for, again, more cross-selling. And it's going to fall in the area of taxes, tax preparation. It's going to fall into that bracket. Okay. But because it's her first year, I've created a compensation for her where literally it qualifies her into the ACA program. I mean, literally just falls right into the Affordable Care Act program. So she has insurance for herself and her youngest. How much do you pay for it every month? 88 cents per month for a full major medical health plan with Cigna. And I believe it's a $750 annual deductible and $25 copay visits and $5 prescriptions. Like, it's a phenomenal plan. She pays 88 cents for it because of the Affordable Care Act plan. And listen, she's my significant other, but I didn't stop. I still cross-sold her. I still sold her a $250,000 term policy with living benefits. And I wrote $100 a month on that. I might be the one that's paying for it, right? Like our business is paying for it, but I definitely cross-sold even in the family, okay?
I'm telling you too, Tony, that unemployment is a really big deal. Like
Really?
honestly. And there's so many people that have unemployment in this year. So they automatically get approved for free insurance, free doctor visits, free medications, believe it or not.
Did that. I would join on, and I apologize, we're taking a little bit longer, and you're free to hop off. I want to respect your time. You're free to hop off if you can, but if you need to. But I'm going to give you a couple more tidbits that I think could be beneficial. If I were you, because I find all my clientele on social media, 100%. If you want to know specifically which one I prefer over any other, it's Facebook. Okay. A lot of people say, well, why? Why is that? There's more people on Instagram. There are more people on Instagram than there are on Facebook. However, the thing I need you to understand about Facebook is that Facebook is a millennial platform. Facebook is a millennial platform. Okay. So if you're a millennial, that means you're in your 30s. That's the ideal client. Those are the ones that are typically married, have kids, have responsibilities, so on and so forth. They're not playing. They're getting themselves stabilized in their life. That's the clientele I like to work with. Millennials got introduced to social media through Facebook. There might be more people on IG, but IG also has a lot more people in that younger age bracket that are still in living at home with mom and dad type scenarios. That's not the ideal client that I'm looking for. If they find me, I'll help them, but I'm not looking for them. I go on Facebook. What I recommend you do, join Facebook groups. Join them. I joined a bunch of teacher Facebook groups. I joined a bunch of tax preparers Facebook groups. I'm a dog lover. You guys know that I have a boxer and a Corso. I joined a bunch of boxer and cane Corso Facebook groups. I joined a bunch of them. And what I do, right now, you got to be kind of delicate with this, right? You can't spend your entire time doing nothing more than soliciting on there because they'll remove you from the groups. They will. They're like, no, this is not a solicitation group. You're out. But what I do is I build relationships with those people. Like, for example, I joined a boxer group, right? For boxers. That's here in Southwest Florida. And they meet up once a month at a beach. A bunch of boxer dog lovers show up so that all the boxers can play together. Do you know how amazing a prospecting opportunity that is to build relationship with those guys? That's huge. And what I'll do in the teacher groups every now and again is I'll post and say, hey, listen, if any of you guys, right, and I did it in the summertime, if any of you guys in the summertime, for whatever reason aren't working and you're looking for some type of coverage, there are some affordable health insurance policies that are out there for you. And you know what's crazy is I had at least 7 people hit me up. And the 7 people that hit me up, it wasn't even for them, but they knew someone who lost their job. They knew someone who wasn't working. They knew someone in that capacity. If you really want to get brave, create your own Facebook groups. I'm in the process of creating a 401k rollovers group. I'm in the process of creating a health insurance group. I'm in the process of creating that because a lot of people, when they want to learn about something, they join those groups. That's what I do. When I was interested in a cane Corso, because Sandra was showing me pictures of the Corzos, and I was like, I want to know about that breed. I joined a bunch of cane Corso groups to learn about that breed. So imagine how many people join health insurance groups because they want to know more about health insurance options, or join life insurance groups or 401k groups because they want to. Make it a public group, open it up for everybody, advertise it to your peers, and you'll start to see it grows. I have one group. I don't know if you guys know about it. I got close to 2,000 people in that group. It's called Millennial Entrepreneur Hustle. MEH, Millennial Entrepreneur Hustle. You know how many people I get requests to join that group just because of the name itself, Millennial Entrepreneur? And it just gives me a platform to talk about what? Entrepreneurship, capitalism, the insurance industry. And I created the group. And that's what Facebook does. It's free advertising. So I'm saying that to you guys because you're losing out on a lot of income opportunity by not leveraging this device right here and not leveraging some of the free resources that are out. I'll close it with this. And I say this because I went through this. I just went through this. Okay. My son had COVID for 2 weeks and he developed this thing. You can check it out online. It's called COVID tongue. It was something that now more and more people are talking about because in the beginning when COVID had hit, doctors weren't noticing it because doctors would require patients to come in wearing a mask. And because they had their mask, they would never inspect their mouth. And now it's becoming more known, especially with this new Delta variant that's out. Okay. He developed COVID tongue. Let me tell you what COVID tongue is. His throat got super sore. He developed blisters in and out of his mouth, on his lips, on his gums, everywhere. His tongue swelled up and he developed this white, filmy, fungus type looking thing on top of his tongue. I mean, it was like a coat. Every day he had to pretty much scrape it off. The reason it is because COVID attacks what's called the ACE glands, and the tongue is filled with ACE glands. For 2 weeks, my son couldn't talk. For 2 weeks, my son couldn't eat. For 2 weeks, my son could barely drink. For 2 weeks, at one point, I thought I was gonna have to take him to the hospital to get him on IV just to get his fluids up. But through the grace of God, I was able to get him to sip little by little, little by little. But when I tell you he was sucking on chloroseptic spray every 5 minutes, I'm not playing. That's not an exaggeration at all. And I thought to myself, because I'm the only one in my family that I quarantined myself up with him in the house. My daughter went to her mom. Sandra and the boys stayed outside of the house. We were wearing masks, and I was inside my room. We lived in my room. I called it camping with him. And I thought to myself, I'm gonna get this. There's no way I'm not wearing a mask in the room. I'm gonna get COVID with my son. By the grace of God, I did it. But this was the entire time. This is what I was thinking about the entire time. If I catch what he has, and I get that in my throat, and I get that in my mouth, I can't work. In this industry, if I can't talk, there's no income. There's zero income if I can't talk. I don't need my hands. I don't need my legs. I could be a floating bobblehead. If I could talk, I can make money and I can run this business. If I can't talk, I'm out. And I thought to myself, if I lose my ability to talk, holy crap, that's not a living benefit claim. Because a living benefit claim on a life insurance policy needs to be a critical situation. Minor and Nivea Ramos right now, their 25-year-old daughter, had to get flown to Pennsylvania on an emergency flight because of COVID, because they need to get on an ECMO machine, and it's a machine that basically breathes and pumps the blood for her. That's a critical illness situation. And so they have a valid claim with living benefits. But what my son had, if I would have had it, is not that. But you know what I could have filed? Disability insurance claim. I could have filed a short-term disability. I'm unable to perform my occupation. And if I had a disability policy, I would have been able to get income after the 15th day of the disability. And how many of us know people that have gone through COVID and it didn't get horrific where they ended up in the hospital, on a ventilator, but it got pretty ugly to where they were out of work for 3-4 weeks. That's a disability claim. So why do I say this? If you know people that went through, don't you think your people on social media know people who went through that scenario? I would be talking about that. I would 100% be talking about that. I'd be posting things on social media like, hey, are you protected in the event that you develop COVID and can't work? Are you able to have an income stream while going through COVID recovery if you're confined to your home? How important is your paycheck to you in the event that you develop COVID and are unable to work for a couple weeks? Don't make it catastrophic like you end up in the hospital, right? Nobody wants to hear that, but it's a hell of a lot more probable that you get out of commission for 3, 4, 5 weeks because of COVID than it is you ending up in the hospital. I'm saying this now to you guys, agents. You should get a disability policy of your own. A short-term disability policy that pays you at least 60% of your income if you're not able to work after a 7 to 14-day period. That I'm literally looking into some of that for myself right now because I faced it and I saw it for reality. And I said, man, if I'm not working, that could affect. A lot of people look at it like the catastrophic, end up in the hospital. But remember, middle America sometimes is one paycheck away from total financial turmoil. So they need to be able to protect that time period. I'd be talking about that as well too. I would 100%. The 3 things that I talk about on social media is replacement of income in the event of COVID, health insurance at an affordable to zero cost. And the third thing is credit reparation, credit repair, because everybody wants to buy a house. Everybody needs to get their credit fixed. And credit repair just allows me to have another conversation with them, build more rapport with them, do a budget on them and see if I can find life sales, health sales, and other sales. No lie. 80% of our credit repair clients have become life insurance clients, just so you guys know. So this training is all about showing you how to market the products that might not necessarily pay high, but there's such a high level of interest that the people will want to meet with you. And if you get to meet with them, you get to fact find. And if you get to fact find, you can find other opportunities and you can cross sell. Does that make sense? Or does anybody have any questions about that? That's what all this is about. we're going to be doing in 2022, we're going to be doing tax preparation. That's the business that I'm looking to get Sandra to set up. And we're going to have a team of people that are tax preparers. Why? Because when middle America gets a $7,000 tax return, rather than them leaving the office and burning through that money, because you know that money gets burnt within the first 30 days. That's what most people in middle America unfortunately do. They don't save that money. What we're going to do with them at that point in time is we're going to run them a quote for a $500,000 term policy paid annually for $600 for the year. And we're going to give them a choice. Mr. Client, you can get $7,000 in your hand now, or we can give you $6,300 right now, plus a $500,000 life insurance policy with living benefits that's paid for the rest of the year. And then next year, when you get your taxes, you can pay the next year. Just think about that. The best time to catch people is when you know they got money in their pocket. Bam. Now, are we going to make a lot of money on tax preparation? No, we'll charge them the normal, what $250, $300, whatever. It merited the hour to 2 hours that you spent with them, but all it does is gives you another opportunity to run another quote. And if out of 10 people, 3 of them or 4 of them say yes, it was worth it. If just 3 of them say yes, you're talking at $600 a year, $50 a month quotes, right? You're talking $1,800 in annual premium you write out of 3 clients and you annualize it. That's the one thing I'm going to tell you. That's not a monthly payment thing. Remember, that person's going to burn through the money quick. No, just collect the whole year up front. That means you're not going to get a 75% advance of your contract. You're going to get 100% advance of your contract. At $1,800 of annual premium, you're making $1,800. Those types of products typically pay at 100% comp minimum. Now you're making $1,800 because you just did a couple people's taxes and you made a few $100 for each person's taxes. What? That's a financial network. That's what this is all about. That's what TKO is all about. Helping people with other financial resources while being able to fact find and find other cross-selling opportunities. So now imagine you got a specialist within TKO that does all tax preparation and all you got to do is talk about it. Right. And then in conversation, you find out they need health insurance as well, too. So then you plug in Rob and now Rob takes care of the health insurance side of it. And again, you're still cross-selling. And then you find out that the person wants credit repair. So you plug them in with Natalia, who takes care of credit repair, and you're still cross-selling. You're still fact finding. You fact find in every opportunity. You don't ask just questions for that opportunity. You fact find for everything. They don't know what question is relative to which product. You fact find. And through that process, you cross-sell and you find the nuggets. You find the life sales. You find the annuity rollovers. You find, credit will pay $200, whatever. Tax preparation, another $200. But look at the scenario I just gave you. $1,800 annual premium. If all you do is get 3 people out of 10 that you do tax services for to buy a $600 AP policy, you just made $1,800. Was it worth it? Absolutely. That's what we're for.
Or just sit in a tax office for a few months and just be like, hey, let me take this corner desk over here and boom, boom, boom.
That's exactly what I did. Actually, I'm going to tell you right now, I partnered up with a gentleman. He's one of our agents, just so you guys know. He's never here. His name is Ains Pascal. He runs one of the largest tax prep services in the Southwest Florida area. You know what he did? He got his insurance license. And then you know what else? You know what he did after that? He said, here's my book of business. Call him. Here's my book of business. Call him. Literally right now, I'm looking for 2 licensed agents that can give me a certain amount of hours in the Southwest Florida area. He'll let them literally station themselves in his office, park themselves in his office during tax season, because while he's got a few thousand people coming in a 3-month period to do the taxes, what he wants to do is have that same person sit in the desk of that life insurance agent so the agent can run a quick quote and he gets put on 50% of it. That's all he wants. Put me on 50%. The other person takes 50. So that's a great recruiting idea. Recruit tax preparers. Now, let me finalize with this. This is sexy now. Think about Jarvis. Imagine if I tell the developers to put together a text message campaign. Imagine if I tell the developers to put together a text message campaign for all of all tax season. I'm talking about January, February, March, April, all tax season, where every day Jarvis sends a text message out, not to one person, not to 2 people, but to every single lead we've ever uploaded into Jarvis. Every single final expense, every single mortgage protection, every single health lead, every single lead. We just shoot a message that we're offering tax services. and we see which people reply. Bam, bam, bam. Let Jarvis do it. Let Jarvis do the work. A text message, a voicemail, and an email. All tax season. And then when the person replies, all we do is we figure out who owns that lead. Which of my agents bought that lead? There you go. There's your lead. There you go. There's your lead. There you go. There's your lead. Imagine that. That's what we're up to, guys. That's what we're up to. This is much more than just buying leads. This is much more than just working natural markets, warm market. That's good. But when you can provide all of these services and have an expert that runs each division in each department, that's powerful.
That's a sticky situation.
Yeah, that's what I want to create. A lot of sticky situations, guys. It's true. It's a lot. You could piss them off and they'll be like, I'm not going to leave, man. I got to untether all of this crap. There's no way. Think about it. How many times has the bank pissed you off? Like you got a fee that you weren't expecting and you're like, man, I'm leaving. And you're like, oh man, I got all my stuff on auto withdrawal on this debit card, man. I don't want to have to redo all this crap. All right, forget it. I'll deal with it. That's what it is. That's what it is. Anyways, if there's no further questions, guys, I'm going to let you guys get going. I apologize that I took up extra time, but I thought it was really good what we got going on. Rob, do me a favor on the Voxer, post your phone number. Okay. I want you guys to leverage Rob for anything that has to do with health insurance under 65 years of age. Okay. Anything over 65 years of age, I want you to leverage Howard Rabinowitz for that piece. And it's not that you can't leverage someone like Shelly, for example, because she knows both those markets. You can leverage Howard, you can leverage Rob as well too. You know, especially if you're within their hierarchy. I would want you to stay within the hierarchy, of course. But just realize that we have a specialist in every department. If you take Rob out to the field, he's going to do a phenomenal job in presenting health insurance, figuring out what the person qualifies for. But more importantly, he's going to open up cross-selling opportunities. And he's become really lethal in selling that ancillary life insurance, that chronic and critical illness plan, you know, that meds. I mean, he's really lethal in that world. And those products pay top commissions right up front. That's what you want to leverage right now for. So go market. You find people that are of interest. How, Rob, can you get on a meeting with me? Rob, can you get on a meeting with me? If you guys really start leveraging Rob to that capacity, I'll put on our website, I'll put a Calendly link so you guys can literally just add yourself to his calendar and rock it that way. Leverage your specialists while you build your agency. That's what we're here for, to be your back office. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Be blessed. I'll stay on for another minute if you have questions and let you go. Yes, Shelly.
Have a great Saturday.